No, that he can all the way off. Yeah.
RFK Jr.?
He can all the way off.
I'm so sick of these people. You know, oh!
There's nothing good that's going to happen with this crazy man. And Elon Musk is an idiot too.
Wrong.
Has to be one of the grossest jokes pulled on the American public ever.
What the f are you talking about?
He's going to send them to these camps and make them all work on the farms. Like, you can quote me, all the way off, RFK Jr.
You are made of stupid.
Today we're going to be watching a video of people who are really pissed that RFK is head of HHS. Let's see what's going on.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life.
Why do you think it's an abomination?
Well, I think he's anti-science. I think he's a conspiracy theorist. And I think his judgment is way off.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
He's not a medical doctor. He's not a scientist. And yet he's going to run our health system.
You're goddamn right.
So I think we're going to see a common theme with all of this. They're going to use talking points that they've heard on mainstream media. They're going to attack his qualifications. He's not a doctor. He's not this. He's not an expert, all that stuff, because they don't want to deal with the reality of the facts of what's going on with this administration.
Has to be one of the grossest jokes pulled on the American public ever.
You think I'm playing?
You said bad thing.
Of course it's a bad thing. He has no qualifications.
Yeah. Why do you...
So I'm assuming he's going to say something about being a doctor or medical expert or something. But the odd thing about it is throughout many administrations, Republican and Democrat, people have been appointed to positions in which they were not technically qualified for. Okay. It's not about expertise a lot of times. It's about politics.
That's the fact, Jack. That's the fact, Jack.
Say that? Why?
Because he has
what is he not qualified
no
for?
medical qualifications. Zero. And he has crazy theories. Now, if you want to make vaccines safer, I'm all for that. But this anti-vax stuff, worm in his brain, I mean...
We're hearing that. We keep hearing that.
Well, but he's got a lifestyle that isn't like his father's.
Medical experience. Previous HHS secretary, was a lawyer.
Oh, damn!
Not a doctor. Is that a problem? Was that a problem for you?
Were they involved
Xavier
in healthcare?
Becerra?
You don't have to be a doctor. You involved in healthcare? Do you know healthcare at all? Did you work in healthcare? That's actually more important than being a doctor. What does a doctor know?
I will make that hypocrisy hurt.
Oh, how convenient when it's your guy who put in a lawyer. Oh, well, are they affiliated with the medical field? Do they know anybody in there? And did you hear what he said at the end? Oh, what does a doctor know? I thought you just said earlier the doctors are qualified to be in that position. Now, all of a sudden, when it's your tribe, it's okay. And this is the larger issue, right? It's not about facts, logic, reason. It's about tribe. If my tribe did it, then it's good. If the other tribe does it, it's not good. And this is prime example 101 right here of what happens when you have a tribal mentality instead of logic and reasoning mentality.
So we're talking to both sides today. And really, it's funny because when people are anti-RFK Jr., a lot of the conversation is around vaccines. Now, this administration, Trump administration, has made it pretty clear, at least so far, that they are not looking to, get rid of vaccines or anything. What they have said is more studies, more research, more transparency.
And Trump and RFK have both explicitly said on multiple occasions that they are not anti-vaccine. But what they do want to do is find out if there's a correlation between vaccines, the way they presently are, and illnesses in childhood. I think that's a noble cause to do.
Would you be in favor of that if that were to be the case?
First of all, Donald Trump is a moron.
I disagree.
Obviously, today's topic is RFK Jr. getting confirmed as HHS secretary, talking to people that are pro and anti this. You're clearly anti. Thanks for coming back. Why is that? What's going on?
You know why she came back? Because, she was the one at the beginning of the video. These liberals that suffer from TDS cannot let things go. They can't fathom somebody having a different opinion than them anywhere in their vicinity. and she just couldn't let it go. Me, whatever. If I'm walking by, somebody has a shirt, somebody has a sign I don't agree with, I don't care. I just keep moving.
That's right, we bad, that's right.
But these people cannot let it go.
There.
The man has no qualifications for the job. He had a brainworm. He caused an outbreak of, I forget, measles, right, in Samoa. So he supports anti-vax.
Okay. And this goes to show you how bad the TDS is. RFK has been head of HHS now for a little over a month. The man himself did not cause an outbreak. He was not in the vicinity of where that outbreak happened. So to think that just because somebody came into an office and all of a sudden these outbreaks are happening and it's because of him goes to show you that there is no logical consistency with these people at all.
Man, there you go with that bullshit.
In any town, there's a small pocket, especially this one is a liberal town. We have a small pocket of people who are anti-vax, right? So what happens if those 25 people who all belong to the same church decide he's right and so none of these new kids are going to get?
So I guarantee you this lady right here is the same type of person that uses the newly minted term Christian nationalist. So we're, a phrase you've been hearing a lot lately, and it's just a way to bash principal Christians. Okay, there's no truth behind that statement, but they just want to roll everybody into one package. So people are Christian nationalists, homophobes, transphobes, fatphobes, racist. So they just put you in this big ball, and it doesn't matter, if you're not even anywhere near of what they call you. It doesn't matter. If you stand on principle, they will lump you into this group. And that's why people like RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, and Joe Rogan have gone elsewhere. Because the minute they disagree, they said, you know what, this doesn't sound right. They were ostracized and they were called names like this. And this woman is a prime example of people that do that. Oh, they all belong to the same church. What does that have to do with anything? That has absolutely nothing to do with being anti-vax. So I don't know what this lady's talking about. She just showed her hand basically as an anti-Christian bigot.
Vaccinated. So now the old people are at risk.
Well, everyone that will get the vaccine, I mean, the vaccines are effective, right?
No, it's herd mentality. You will get sick. If you're exposed.
Without a vaccine.
No, even with a vaccine, because look at COVID. You got a lower risk if you had the vaccine, but you could still get it. Well, there's 38 people today in Texas as the largest measles outbreak they've had so far in the last 25 years.
Okay, so bear with me on this one. I'm Gen X, obviously, by the name of my channel. Right? I'm 47 years old. So up until recently, like the past 4 years, the definition of a vaccine was something that prevented you from catching an illness you were vaccinated for. For example, if I had been vaccinated for chickenpox, which I wasn't, but let's just say if I did, it shouldn't matter how many people around me that are infectious with chickenpox. If I have the vaccine, I'm good. I'm immune from it. And that was the case for every single vaccine up until the Jabby Jab 19, if you know what I mean. Then all of a sudden, just like liberals do, they like to change definitions of things and then say, oh, well, no, a vaccine includes things that maybe lessen the symptoms. You might still get it, but it'll lessen the symptoms, which has never been the case ever. So you gotta love how the science crowd all of a sudden likes to change the definitions of things that we've known about up until modernity, and all of a sudden want to change those definitions. So at this point, anything this lady says has no credibility because no logical consistency, no facts. It's all feelings, and then whenever it's convenient, she likes to change definitions. If you are vaccinated against communicable diseases, in theory, you should be able to go into a crowd of people that have that disease and be okay. Now, all of a sudden, in recent times, that's not the case. I don't know.
Just watch. I talked to a guy last night who he said he's probably 70. The most pain he's ever felt was getting shingles. And he's a Republican. He's voting for that moron.
Do you mind if I ask you? Because we hear
There's a shingle vaccination. Just saying.
hear a lot. It's funny because it seems like two different conversations are happening, right? People that are RFK Jr. supporters.
Is just one, by the way.
Of course. But to talk about that, I mean, this seems like the primary argument from folks that don't like RFK Jr. is the vaccine position.
The high risk. It's the highest.
But it seems as though they're not talking about doing away with any of these vaccines.
Yeah, he is.
And the administration, they haven't said that they were going to be doing that.
They're just flooding the zone, right? They're throwing all this crap out there, but now it takes one mommy saying, or our head of the school board, our idiot that just got elected, he's like, well, my granddaughter's now doing the research because vaccines are dangerous. The head of our school board.
I have a sneaking suspicion that this woman has no kids and cats. Just a suspicion.
Fact.
Read more research around vaccines.
No, there's $1 zillion in research around
a lot
vaccines.
of them are funded by big pharma companies and all that.
Yeah, of course. Who pays for it? But how
do you think do you support the idea of just more transparency, more unbiased studies and research around vaccines? Or no?
I support smarter research among people who are conspiracy theorists because it's all out there. Now, of course, the vaccine for cancer that doesn't pay as much isn't getting the love that the vaccine for the people reducing their fat is getting, because that's where the money goes. But it doesn't mean that either vaccine's bad. It's just that the money flows to where the money is.
Primarily what they've been talking about, I'm just telling you what they've been talking about, has been more research around vaccinations, all of that, more transparency with the research.
It's completely made up. Like if you told me right now and gave me an assignment, said, show me where they hid research about XYZ. We have standards. I have friends in that business. Now all those standards are out the window. It's a long process to get approved for a vaccine. It's all conspiracy. And this idiot in that job as HHS, the conspiracy is just going to fly. That kind of crap. It's just so maddening. It's so maddening.
Do you mind?
You can say conspiracy theory as much as you want, but we've learned in the past 5 years that the difference between the truth and conspiracy is 6 months.
These ain't opinions. These are facts.
Right? Because everything they were saying at the beginning of the old Jabby Jab 19, if you know what I mean, when they were banning doctors from being on public platforms, when they were deleting people's posts, when they were ostracizing experts on the field that were saying, hey, what we're doing is wrong. They had an agenda, and the political establishment and the medical establishment both teamed up and said, this is going to be the narrative. Anybody else must be silenced. And then come to find out 5 years later, oh yeah, everything that the establishment was saying was wrong, and everything that the people were objecting to it were right.
Correct. Absolutely 100% factual.
So you can't blame the public for not having trust in the medical institutions and the governmental health institutions, because they were wrong and they lied to us and they blocked information that could have saved lives.
Mind if I ask you about the other side of the argument, which is going to be, the primary focus.
You mean the uninformed one? Go ahead. Yeah.
See, this woman, she's listening to respond, not listening to digest the information. Notice she's always ready with a talking point, always ready to interject. It doesn't matter what he says, doesn't matter what facts he's giving. She just has to say words. Why? And you hear these little jabs she's doing. Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, that. She just can't listen because you know what? She has to be on the right side. She cannot fathom being confronted with the fact that she has been on the wrong side. So she has to double and triple down, just like a lot of leftists nowadays. You see it.
I'm just telling you the primary focus for RFK Jr.
There's no focus in that administration. Go ahead.
Okay.
None. Zero.
Yeah. Is tackling the childhood chronic disease epidemic that we're seeing in the country right now. 40% of children in the U.S. have a chronic illness.
Yesterday he said he's
are you on board with tackling that?
Oh, he makes up these numbers. First of all, half of the people.
That's a correct.
Right.
I fact checked that number. That's correct.
Have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up.
Right, but what chronic illness is not going to be solved by him sending them to gulag camps for health. That was his yesterday's comment.
You see, they're at this point, she's just saying words. She's not mentioning anything in fact or reason, right? Oh, he's gonna send them to gulags. Who said that? Like, are you stupid? Well, yes, she's stupid. But like, this is what happens when you have no logic, reasoning, or facts on your side. It's all feelings and talking points, and that's all she's doing. And I bet you she's gonna walk away pretty soon because at this point, her narrative, her argument's falling apart.
And he's going to send them to these camps and make them all work on the farms. Like, you can quote me, F all the way off, RFK Jr.
See? And there you go. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time.